Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Phantom.Strategies. It's about 8:30 a.m. Eastern here in US. So want to bring you this morning update for Bitcoin. Kind of walk you through the overnight session and the morning session from the Asian market. All right. So we had a pierce, or you can call it a breakout, of this falling wedge that I mentioned in this previous video, and the price action, it actually held up over the falling wedge and this thick downward trend line that I drew. This one is actually coming all the way. I have mentioned it in previous videos as well. This is coming all the way from the 20,000 mark that we made in December. Alright, so that sitting over that trend line and finishing that day over that trend line is a good sign. It's a positive sign, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. So now what we are seeing right here is sitting right over the support of 8,300. So if you remember in the previous videos that I have created, I've been talking about this 8,300 level as a support and 8,300 level as a resistance moving up. So now since we have crossed that price level, now it will act as a support. If you see that dip that we actually made overnight or in the early morning, that dip right here is right at that 8,300 mark, so that will act as a support. Alright, so how can you trade that? So if you keep it simple, like for today, the objective for today should be simple. We want to make sure that we are crossing over the high that we made, which was around 8,600, alright, and not going below the low that we made, 8,300. 83.34 to be exact. So it's a pretty simple objective for today. We want to make sure the price action remain over the 8,300, and potentially if we can break that 8,600 level today, that will be significantly better for the bull case, and we will have the room toward a 9,300 mark. The one thing that a lot of traders are talking about is a crossover of 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. So that is coming up quite close. So if the bulls have to make that case, then we need to do it quite sooner rather than later. All right. What this is nothing. It's called dead cross, basically. Death cross. It's a 50-day moving average. The black line right there, that's a 50-day moving average crossing the green line, which is the 200-day moving average. When the black line goes below that 200 moving day average, it signals a lot of it sends out a lot of alerts that hey, there is a death cross in the moving average. And a lot of traders, a lot of institutional traditional traders, they look that as a potential signal for getting out of the market kind of signal. So yes, that can be bad news, but we want to make the thing about the cryptocurrency, then you cannot just rely on one thing, right? You have to look at the broader picture. The thing about cryptocurrencies is it's a very, very, very dynamic market. And I was reading this article yesterday. Someone said that it's cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin is like NASDAQ times 15. So NASDAQ, what is NASDAQ? It's the index for all the tech companies that get traded on New York Stock Exchange. All right. So that is the index that it's a combination of all those tech companies, and comparing that to Bitcoin and calling it times 15, that's pretty accurate, to be honest. It's not way too off, because the way this market moves is very dynamic, and it's just it's a very fast moving market. So coming back to this moving average point, that if we don't cross, but if we get a positive momentum like in the price action, it can have a reversal within few days. So I wouldn't be too worried right now unless we are sitting below it significantly for a longer time. Then I will be a little bit more cautious. All right, until then I will watch it, but I will not be like, you know, raising all the red flags until we cross and stay in that crossover for longer period of time. Okay. So let's talk about the headline news. Let's look it up. Ripple XRP just might be the next big crypto future market. I don't know, but I mean, the future market is like, you know, I trade future markets. I know what exactly they are. I mean, it brings in more investors, but at the same time, you have like, you know, you have people who will come in and short the futures as well. So it's not just one way up. All right, so there you have people who are shorting it and people who are buying it as well. So I mean, I don't think I don't think it's gonna make that coin very what do you call it, like, you know, obviously the institution, like, you know, like that it's getting futured because they can trade it and they can, you know, make money off it. But for people who are like holding it for a longer period of time, I don't necessarily agree with the futures market on Ripple, because I don't think the value for Ripple to be in futures market is there yet. So let's look at other headline news. So Venezuelan politician blast U.S. sanction as a Petro ICO goes public. Yeah, that was going to happen. Okay, all right. So it's regular, anything that you probably expect in overall crypto news. The fact that every government and all this like regulations that are coming in, so I want to reiterate this fact, like, it's not a all bad thing, you know. If that's kind of, you know, legalize crypto and cryptocurrencies and crypto trading. If you think about it, you know, when yes, in short term there will be some downside effect that is given, but in the longer term that will bring a lot of comfort to the market. It will bring a lot of confidence in the market, where people might be sitting on the sideline. I know plenty of investors with deep pockets. I have mentioned this before in the channel. I have investors who are like, you know, who have done quite well for themselves in late 90s and, you know, early 2000 in the stock market. They took a lot of risk during that time, and it paid off. Sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. And if you're smart enough to, like, you know, put your money in the right places and, you know, make your portfolio correctly and, you know, trade on probabilities, then, you know, you can make a significant amount of money. And those investors, I have few people that I invest money for, and they have, like, you know, they haven't got into the crypto space yet. You know, I'm so surprised they haven't, and the reason is because they really don't understand it right now. They are, like, you know, obviously in their 50s, and they are, like, you know, more traditional investor. They took their risks, they made their money when they were in their, like, you know, 30s, and now they are more of, like, cautiously, like, you know, they're more cautious investor. They would get into the things that they understand, and they get into things that, you know, that will they can rely on for a longer period of time. And, you know, crypto is in that space right now where, like, you know, tech companies, .com companies that were in their 90s, and their, like, you know, mid to late 90s, that's where cryptocurrencies are right now. It's just coming in the market. A lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people don't know where it's gonna go, where the future holds. So it's in that arena, it's in that space right now, and it does have a future. It does have a real, you know, obviously provides the real life value. So that's why it's been it's been surviving for this long, and it will definitely thrive more. But we need this kind of regulation to kind of clear up a lot of fraud and a lot of the scam that have been going on in cryptocurrency world. So that will bring more like confidence to the to more investors. All right, so think of like in short term, yes, it might be a little bit like negative, but in longer term, if you're a longer term player, then obviously this is going to be much better. All right, let's look at the 4 hour real quick. Okay, so looking at the 4 hour, seems like it's consolidating right now. I think it breaks. I really I feel a little bit more bullish right here. It's a consolidation flag right here, a bull flag if you want to call it, on the shorter, like on the 4 hour time frame. And I here, so that's more clear on the 4 hour. What we need now is a solid breakout. So what we had is a nice uptick, consolidation, waiting for that breakout. So this cannot get any better for a bull run toward that 94. Well, first it's gonna have some resistance around 9,000, and then we can have around 9,400 mark. So this can break on the upside fairly soon. All right. And it will. It's not gonna consolidate it like today. Later today, probably in 24 hours, this will break toward upside. I would say it has a better chance to break toward upside rather than breaking downside. Okay, here I said it. I said it again. I feel like it's have a better chance of breaking toward upside rather than breaking downside. All right. So this pinch action right now that's going on, it's 8:40 right now a.m. Eastern time. So we'll find out if this breakout has a room, a volume behind it to run toward that 9,400 mark. So we'll find that out soon. But the breakout will occur within next 8 to 12 hours. Yep. So keep an eye on that. The way you can trade that is like again, I would use that 8,300 gauge as my indication. Anything below that, I will be out. Anything over that, I will be in. So that's fairly simple, fairly neat and clean. So yeah. All right. So just to recap, Bitcoin, it broke that resistance, that falling wedge yesterday. It actually closed the day over that. It actually also closed the day over the red downward trend that we have been talking about, and now it's consolidating. It might break out upside in maybe next 8 to 12 hours. There are more chances of breaking it over or toward upside, because if you see the 11-day moving average, it's moving fast and it's coming about to cross the 50-day moving average. So that's another positive thing. All the moving averages are crossing over. When I even look at the MACD, that needs to, like, it's staying relatively strong here. So the average, the lines are turning on the upside. So let's see if it follows through. So again, we need to watch indications. All the indicators are there that it will break toward the upside. But again, in this market, I have said it plenty of times last week, that be very skeptical of any bounces until we clear that 11,700 levels. All right. So you want to treat the market like as is. If the market is being very range bound, then you want to make sure that you're doing your trading more of a range bound. If the market is in the trend, nice uptrend, then you want to obviously change your strategy of change it to buy and hold kind of thing, so that it's constantly moving in the right direction. So treat the market like as is and not like how you want to see it. All right. So you will survive the market much longer if you treat the market like as is. Alright, so that's all, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit those notification and those bell icons so you get this content right away. I post these videos every day. I do morning update for Bitcoins, and then I go into the altcoin later in the afternoon or in the evening. Alright, and if you think this is helping you, if these videos are helping you with your trading, with your investing in cryptocurrencies and your journey for your cryptocurrencies, then please give me a thumbs up. That really means a lot. Makes me motivated to do this video every morning and afternoon and evening for you guys. Alright, so that really does keep me motivated. Alright, so I will talk to you soon.